Okay, we're going to take a look at three different media organizations' coverage of an identical story. This deals with CEO from J.P. Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, who testified in front of Congress yesterday. This website, Democracy Now!, as we've talked about in class, is what we call left-leaning, okay? The daily independent global news hour. They also call themselves on their tagline, the War on Peace Report. Okay, let's take a look at the headline. J.P. Morgan Chase CEO gets warm hill welcome from senators flooded with millions in Wall Street donations. Big, long, clunky headline. But even from the headline, you get the sense that Democracy Now! Is taking a stance right away that senators flooded with millions in Wall Street donations are not exactly going to be an unbiased audience, or should we say thorough bunch of reviewers. Down to the lead, we see protesters confronted J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon on Wednesday as he testified on Capitol Hill about how his bank lost up to $3 billion in risky bets. So they start with the protesters. That's the first thing they bring up. Lawmakers, however, gave a warmer greeting to the man described as Washington's favorite banker. Okay, it's a little tongue-in-cheek there. They're right away saying that this man is coming into a warm welcome and that this is all sort of pretty much a dog and pony show. J.P. Morgan spent $7.6 million on lobbying last year, and Dimon has a long record of contributing campaign donations to lawmakers on the Senate Banking Committee. Okay, they're throwing in some history right there to sort of put it into context. Again, sort of cementing their stance as they're looking at this whole thing as a sham. Okay, let's move on to the New York Times coverage. Okay, New York Times headline is "Proud J.P. Morgan Chief Apologizes." Okay, so their headline is focusing on the fact that Jamie Dimon got in front of Congress and said, "I'm sorry," which is an embarrassment to a business leader. Let's look at their lead. Jamie Dimon, the outspoken chief executive of J.P. Morgan Chase, under scrutiny for a multi-billion-dollar trading loss at his firm, apologized for the mishap on Wednesday, even as he mounted a fierce defense of his bank. Okay, so their lead sort of they're focusing on the apology, not the protesters, or the money that he's donated to, he and his colleagues have donated to Congress. Testifying at a much-anticipated hearing before the Senate Banking Committee, Mr. Dimon said that he was proud of the bank, highlighting the firm's fortress balance sheet and its performance during the financial crisis. Quote, "We're doing what a bank is supposed to do," he told a panel of lawmakers, few of whom posed combative questions during the roughly 2-hour hearing. So they're also highlighting the fact that he had a pretty easy go of it, but they're saying it in a much more genteel sort of language. Now let's move on to Fox News, which, as we know, is more right-leaning. Dimon, more regulation would not have prevented losses. So right away, Fox is harping on one of their sort of standard positions, which is that more regulation is bad. J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said Wednesday that no amount of regulation could have prevented the $2 billion in losses that rocked his bank earlier this year after a huge bet went bad. Quote, "It's purely management's mistake," he said during questioning by members of the Senate Banking Committee. Dimon said strong regulation is more effective than more regulation. J.P. Morgan shares rose by $1.12 or 3.32% following his testimony. Okay, so Fox is focusing on his message to Congress, which is, leave us alone. Our management people screwed up. We're going to take some of their money away. And that's how the market should work. Okay, so from these three examples of these three different institutions, you get a sense of how the editorial position of the writers and the editors and what they choose to post online and publish in their print products is always colored by whatever political position the editors happen to be taking. Okay, so what I'd like you guys to do is, first of all, tell me, where do you get your news? Okay, and wherever it is, you can go to Google, pull up your news, or if you get it from Google or Yahoo, wherever it is, and I want you to post on your blog, find some story, not the Jamie Dimon story, but another story, something that is going to be covered in different outlets. And I don't want you to go to Democracy Now! Or the New York Times either. I want you to tell me where you get your news. If it's one of those, okay, and find the same story somewhere else, okay, and compare and contrast, okay, and post the links on your blog, and we'll talk about it in class next week. Okay, any questions? You can email me or contact me, and by all means, please post discussions on the discussion board. And I'll see you in the next class.